Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the show. Yes, we did not upload an episode on Friday. This time, we apologize to everyone who is knocking down our doors to ask us where the episode is. Where is it? But now it's here. We are recording this past your bedtime. Whoever's
Oh
listening.
yes.
Um it's 1 o'clock in the morning for me, not past my bedtime because I'm uh pretty cool. But yeah, sorry there was no episode. I was not home. We couldn't take the show on the road yet. We're not that famous. But Evan is here with me and nonetheless we power through to get this episode to you.
It's not quite 1 o'clock for me. It's only the witching hour, in
Mhm.
fact. But yeah, this is our away show, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
We're out and about doing our wheelings and dealings.
Yes. Yeah, we're the show's kind of on the road. Not as on the road as it would have been if we recorded yesterday, but sometimes you just gotta take some time and not talk about how angry people are about Owen Wilson not saying wow in the newest Loki episode. And I think that's okay. I think that's what we can take
Yeah.
away from this. Um but do you want to talk about this latest Loki episode, or before we get into it, do you have anything you want to bring to the table?
Well, one thing that I consistently heard about this episode is everyone mentioned how confusing it was and how
Mm,
like they were confounded by it. I don't know, watching it, it felt weirdly the opposite. Like this episode had this episode has kind of the clearest case of like young adult dystopian novel disorder, where every line is like a trying to be clever natural way of relaying like really big exposition on you.
mm,
It's like in the beginning of every like Hunger Games ripoff, they're always like, hey, you just got added to the game. Oh my god, the game master's here. Hey, you're gonna meet up at the stick, at the old stick. That's the old stick where the game is held, and that's where you got to do the jumping ceremony.
mm.
And it's that weird, like really exposition heavy. Every single like bit of dialogue doesn't feel natural because it's very like evidently trying to force information down your, you know,
Yep.
is very Nolanish dialogue in that it's all
Mm,
trying to teach you something with every line.
yeah, yeah, I like that. Um,
I did like the episode though. I
yeah.
think I think Loki is like Loki I like just because tonally it's the first one of these that I don't know. The first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I guess, felt similar, so maybe I'm speaking too soon. But this
Mhm.
is one that tonally really doesn't feel like an MCU project.
Yeah.
It's kind of got like a Wachowski's sci-fi feel.
Mhm.
Like it feels more like a sci-fi thriller than anything else. Even though, and it doesn't do a lot of the whole interlacing. It's exposition heavy, which I mean, fine. I feel like they are kind of trying to spoon feed it to you, but I guess they have to if you like contractually. But it doesn't do a lot of that like hey, remember we're in the MCU, remember Easter egg, it doesn't do a lot of that stuff from what I've seen, which was very refreshing for me to watch.
Yeah, that it kind of they kind of got that out of the way in the first episode, I feel like,
Yeah.
with the Infinity Stones and the flashbacks to all the scenes from movies,
From
which
Avengers and stuff, yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
that was
they're
like my least favorite stuff of that last episode.
uh-huh.
I'm glad, hopefully, I think this is a sign of moving away from the MCU movies that like you need a chart out to like fully appreciate.
Well, if you watch the 2.5 hour mark of Iron Man 3,
Yeah.
you see the Airplane in the Sky. That's actually the Fantastic Four. Um, yeah.
It's always funny to me to do that because I'm like, I feel like sure there was a lot of planning, but 80% of this has to be like them making it up as they go, right?
Oh yeah. Well, you remember in I think it was Iron Man 3 when there's that one kid who like helps Iron Man. It's one of the Iron Man sequels. But there's a kid who like
Oh
helps
yeah.
Iron Man out for 5 seconds and they're like that was Peter Parker. It was totally our plan all along. No it wasn't. No, it
Yeah.
was not. It was not. They can say whatever
Listen,
they want to get their Twitter stands or whatever in a frenzy and that's their goal.
Marvel
That's all they
needs to
want.
come out with its last Jedi, I think.
Yes, I completely agree with that.
Marvel needs to
Mhm.
make one movie that goes, hey, everything you knew before, nah, throw it out the way. Forget it. You
Mhm.
idiots. You fools.
Maybe that'll be what Eternals is.
Maybe, maybe that'll be what that multiverse of madness thing is. That would be
Yeah.
fun.
Well, I heard I was reading some reviews for Black Widow and of course, as Evan told me, these are the people that they, give the movie to because they know they'll probably enjoy it. And I agree with that. But I saw some reviews of people who weren't too high on it too. And I'm not saying Black Widow's gonna be a Last Jedi movie because I don't think the movie's gonna matter very much. The character isn't with us any longer, whether you like it or not. So, but
It
um
does seem like it's getting some good press, though.
yeah, it's yeah, I've heard both ways. I haven't heard it's bad,
Yeah.
um but back to Loki. Yeah, I I don't know.
Yeah,
I like
it's like this movie doesn't matter. She's dead.
yeah. Yeah, it's not like they're gonna force like Florence Pugh as the next person to care about, and I'm okay with that. I just wish, the Black Widow character got a movie earlier. Um
Yeah, this feels like damage control, to be honest. It feels like,
it
hey,
totally
who did we
was.
not make a movie about?
Yeah. Um I mean, and it's fine because we're gonna get new characters, but there's probably only like one of those new characters that's gonna matter going forward, to be honest.
I feel like this one, at least with the Hawkeye one, it's going to be about a different Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you didn't have to make a movie about all of them. Some of them, you could have left the backstory mystery. And like, who with Hawkeye, I'm fine with like, I'll never know how he came to be.
Yeah, he's been shooting arrows since a young age.
It's way first of all, you want to make Hawkeye look cool. It's way cooler if he's just a guy who shows up with some arrows and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna save the day."
Yeah,
That's so much cooler if he's like a samurai, like he just wanders in out of town with some arrows and like he
yeah,
shoots a guy dead. That should be the Hawkeye movie. He starts off, he's Hawkeye, and he saves the town.
yeah. Well, I just want to say I've tried archery before when I was in Puerto Rico. Not terribly difficult. So Haley Steinfeld can take over as the new Hawkeye, and I'm sure we'd be all right with that. And yeah, Hawkeye can be Samurai Man in Japan. I think that would be a good enough series. It's probably not going to happen though.
No, but
No.
I'll write the screenplay for it if they let me.
Okay.
Once again, we at Save Entertainment are always happy to take commissions for any screenplays that need writing.
Yeah.
Marvel, Disney, Warner Brothers.
Yeah. Just bring us into your pitch room, and
Yeah,
we'll knock you out of your socks.
I can get up like a 2-page treatment for a sequel to this show. So
Yeah.
hit us up.
Um. Yeah. Loki episode 2. It was good. It was fine. I liked the I thought the reveal at the end that like they were hunting a different Loki, but it wasn't actually Loki was kind of obvious. Did you do you agree?
Yeah, I I didn't know that. I didn't even know that was supposed to be a reveal. I thought that was like
I was like,
we're
it's
building.
obviously not Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was like, why would they have him not show up like that if not to make us believe that it wasn't going to be Tom Hiddleston?
yeah.
I was kind of like disappointed to find out it wasn't. I was like, oh, so they
Hmm.
weren't even like trying to do like a double get.
No, no. Uh, with how it ended, do you think he has evil plans? The Loki we're following, the variant.
I think what's probably going to happen is he's going to run away with them. He's going to be like, yeah, you can't rehabilitate me. But then at the end, he's going to come around, join the good side. And then we're
Mm-hmm.
like, you can be rehabilitated.
Yeah.
Props to them if they don't, though. Putting that out there, props to them if they don't. If they don't do it, I will be obligated to give them one thumb up.
Okay.
Actually, two thumbs up.
Wow.
I
That'd
do
be.
think so. I guess we should explain the plot of this episode.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter. I mean, if you watched it, you'll be listening to this and caring. If you didn't, you won't be.
Right, true. But I guess maybe like a little synopsis.
Yeah,
So they're
yeah,
they're continuing their search for a Loki variant, a rogue Loki variant that has been up to no good, and part of this search leads Loki to the theory that he's been hiding out in large natural disasters,
yes.
which is a cool idea. And they play with it for like 30 seconds and then it's over. And then they forget about it,
Hmm.
which, I mean, I don't know what I expect. But I did think it was like, oh, he goes to Pompeii. There's a lot of weird, like faux philosophical speeches in this episode.
Yeah, yeah,
A
definitely.
lot of like, Spark Notes version of Nietzsche, like nothing means anything. All of this is nothing.
No one is truly bad or good.
Yeah, which I mean, maybe with maybe we have gotten to a point where like movies have dumbed people's brains to the point where that is a genuinely shocking thing for people to hear, but I
Hmm.
don't think so.
No.
This seems all very, but maybe that's just a metaphor for a lot of these series, is that they're giving us stuff that we kind of already know, like in the back of our mind, and fooling us into thinking that they pulled it out of our ear.
Hmm.
But aside from that, I thought that Hiddleston, he's still charming enough.
Yeah. He's
It
still
wears a little
British.
bit thin sometimes.
Yeah.
I forgot. There's one scene where like doesn't I think someone calls him like a monster or something, and he goes, "Thank you" or something. Or it's when they're both running away. When like Owen Wilson makes like a discovery and they go run to go find some files,
Uh-huh.
and he makes a line going like, "Oh, you're no," he goes like, "You're a genius," and he runs off, and then Loki's like, huh, "I know," and it's like, this this shtick has been you've been doing this shtick for like 14 years now,
Yeah. Yeah.
man.
He's so British.
He's so British.
Yeah.
0 stars for featuring a British main character.
I agree. Um I like I do still like kind of the back and forth between Owen Wilson and Hiddleston, though. Someone kind of mentioned to me that they compared this to Catch Me If You Can, which I thought was pretty accurate.
Yeah, it's a lot. I've noticed with a lot of these shows, especially, so much of them are like so much of what they're doing are just references to like other movies and
Oh yeah.
other dynamics and other like genres, which I mean that is the most interesting stuff in the episode. And
Hmm.
I did like their back and forth. I thought it was like cool. cop show, police procedural type thing.
Yeah.
Catch Me If You Can, yeah, it's a good pull for that.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty interesting. It's a familiar setup, but here it was fine to see.
Hmm.
It didn't feel it didn't feel as stale as it probably could have
Sure.
without having two talented actors at the helm.
Yeah. I just want something wacky to happen because I think this show has
Yeah.
the most potential.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I've
So
been
yeah,
kind of waiting because it has the whole setup with like the music and
the
the
music's
tone
great.
they're going for makes me think that they're going to do some weird, like 2001: A Space Odyssey style, like insane sci-fi stuff. But they
Mm,
haven't really. The coolest looking thing that we've seen was that like parallel door that opened up that he walks into at the end. I thought that was
yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
But that was the most like cool otherworldly sci-fi thing that we get. It's pretty few and far in between.
Yeah.
Which I guess it's not sci-fi, it's more magic. It's like it's magic and sorcery and spells, but
Hmm.
kind of sci-fi. You've got the time keepers or whatever they're called.
The timekeepers. I have a theory that
Time Valley Authority.
I think they mention them so much that they're not actually real.
But the TVA or
No,
whatever.
the three like lizard people that they talk about.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they're real. I think that's just a
A red herring, if you will.
yeah. I think it's so obvious because they mention them up and they're like "Pfft, those old lizards that and Loki's like please I need to meet the timekeepers and whatever. Like that's his ultimate goal. Like I think they're
Oh
just
yeah.
setting up that
Or
he's
maybe
gonna be
like they're real,
disappointed.
but they're not like important, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like they're real, but they're like frauds.
Hmm.
But they're probably like not real. You're probably right. Yeah.
I just think they mention them so much that it's like setting up some sort of letdown for Loki or
Yeah.
whatever.
Or like he meets them and they're like, "Hey, you suck. Get away from us."
Yeah, yeah, they're just like I have a comparison of this that I'm thinking of, but I can't. It's like this has happened before when someone is like, oh, why can't I think of it? It's in like a Pixar movie or something when
Well,
someone
like it's kind of like an Up where he's like he
yeah,
spent the whole time being like, I gotta meet this old like 20th century aviator, and he meets
yeah,
him and like sucks, like he's like a
yeah,
jerk.
yeah. Up that definitely happens in. I feel like there's another one though that I
I think it's kind of like a Pixar like running thing where it's like you don't meet your idols.
yeah. Like
I
what
think
like
there's a
Toy
Cars
Story
where they do
2
that. Oh yeah, Toy Story 2, he meets
when he meets Jesse and Bullseye and the
yeah,
prospector and the prospector's like a total jerk
yeah.
and it's like never meet your heroes.
Or it's like Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Spends the
Hmm.
whole time trying to find his bicycle at the basement of the Alamo, and you get that famous line, "There's no basement at the Alamo, kid,"
Mm.
when he finally gets there. It's heartbreaking stuff. But
Heartbreaking. They say it in such a fashion.
he says, yeah, he does say it like that. He's like, "There's no basement at the Alamo, kid," or something. I haven't seen the movie,
Oh,
but
you know
it's
what I'm thinking of? I think
what?
I'm thinking of Guardians of the Galaxy too. When
Oh yeah, when he
Star-Lord's
meets
like,
his
I want to
dad,
meet
and
my
his dad
dad.
kills his mom,
And Kurt Russell is just like, I'm just trying to
and
take a
that's
little.
why I put that tumor in her head.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's definitely what I was thinking of. And then it does that zoom in on Chris Pratt's face when he's like,
Yeah, it's like the vertigo effect thing, where it's like
I see that clip on Twitter all the time and it makes me laugh a lot.
it's so funny also that he says, and that's why I put the tumor in her head. And then it cuts to like a jaw zoom. Like,
It's like the Curb Your Enthusiasm music.
it's not even like he didn't even say something like, and that's why I had to eliminate her. No, he says, and that's why I put that tumor in her.
Mm,
Uh,
oh, that's terrible. Um, yeah, that's what definitely what I was thinking of. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, when he's like, "Oh, I can't wait to meet my dad."
yeah, it's a pretty standard thing. The longer you set up, the only time I can think of where it's ever like played straight, where like something set up the entire movie, and then you
Mm-hmm.
get there and it's exactly as you think it is like maybe like the Muppet movie,
Mm-hmm.
where the whole time they're like, "Hey, we want to get to Hollywood," and then they go to Hollywood, and Hollywood's great.
Mm-hmm.
You think,
And then you
you know,
get to Hollywood, and all of a sudden it's
if they put this in the episode, then they owe us money.
that was only 8 seconds. I promise that I am not trying to go to court over playing that clip.
Larry, if you're listening to this, just know
I'm a big
that
fan of your Bernie Sanders impression.
we are big fans of your Bernie Sanders impression,
Hmm.
and we wish you no ill will.
No, no, I think you have enough money too, so
Yeah,
please don't take any from us struggling teenagers.
don't don't sue some struggling teenage actors, please.
Do you think being 19 is still like I'm a teenager? You know, like when people complain about teens and stuff, it's more like
We're only
14,
teenagers
15.
in the point where we don't get taken. Where like you don't have to
Right.
take anything we say seriously. You know,
Yeah.
where we're not teenagers to the point where it's like you should know better. We are
Hmm.
teenagers to the point where it's like, hey, that guy's a teenager. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Stupid teen. But I think I still look like I'm like 17.
you could pass for 17,
Yeah.
or maybe like a real rough 14.
Okay. I've been through some stuff.
Yeah, like a 14-year-old who's been through the ringer.
Yeah. Had a growth spurt way too early.
A 14-year-old who's been like using his fists to fight crime.
Mm.
Like you could play like a 14-year-old in like a Netflix movie.
That would be a good screenplay. A 14-year-old who just fights.
I don't think I could pass for 19, to be honest.
I think it's just the facial hair.
Yeah, I think if I'm gonna start, for them to cast me in to All the Boys I've Loved Before 3, then I'm gonna have to shave all my facial hair off so I can play boy number 4.
Oh, to all the boys I've loved before. I only watched the middle movie. I didn't watch the first or third.
There's 3 already?
I think it came out this year.
Oh. I mean, when I look at my inbox, it's all just scripts, for to All the Boys I've Loved Before, The Kissing Booth.
You're always in the running for the same roles as Noah Centineo.
Yeah, I almost got that part, but
Oh, how'd your
I,
callback for Outer Banks go, by the way?
it was pretty good. I got to meet Madison Clean, I think was her name. Uh, I don't know, she was really she wanted to get all my info and my contact stuff. She
Right.
wanted to read my new screenplay, the usual.
Classic struggling actress.
Yeah, she wanted to ride my coattails, but I
Right.
was I was realistic with her, telling her about it. I got a big name. I got to be taken seriously and stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's
got all
tough out
squared
there.
away.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. Um I saw In the Heights, so I can talk about that.
Oh yeah, how
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah,
How
and you
was
saw
it
The
like in the
Conjuring.
hype?
In the Heights. In the Heights was good. It was good. It's got some catchy tunes that you can have in your head after, and after you've seen it, you can say, "Oh, I can't get this song out of my head," written by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Um, Yeah, I like his I think he makes some catchy songs. I like his songs in Hamilton more probably. That has more I mean, of course that's the more popular one, but he was our age when he started writing this. So that's
Was he?
pretty
I didn't
cool.
know that.
Yeah. He was writing it when he was in college and the one thing I took away from this movie, I think, is I cannot believe he played the lead role at one point.
He did.
Yeah, he was on Broadway. He was the main character, Usnavi.
Really? I thought he played the Paragua guy. I never
Maybe
listened to the soundtrack. I'm not gonna lie.
maybe it's because I haven't seen no, he plays the Paragua guy in the movie, but
Oh,
he's the in the Broadway musical, he was the lead. Um Maybe it's because Lin-Manuel is kind of like permanently 40 in my brain because I've only seen him in Hamilton and
even in Hamilton, in the scenes where like he's supposed to be a like 18-year-old fresh out of college,
yeah.
like you watch it on Disney Plus, and he goes like only 19, but my mind is
Yeah.
older, and it's like your body's older too, and your face is
Yeah,
older,
much much older.
much older.
You could not pass for 28. Um yeah, like that was a big takeaway for me. I don't know if and maybe I don't know what a young Lin-Manuel Miranda really brought to the live theatrical experience, but that was a
That show
big
did
takeaway
open
for me.
like a long time ago, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it was like
Like
2000s, early 2000s maybe.
I think it was late 2000, like
Okay.
2007,
Okay.
probably,
Um it's a
or like 15
good
years ago.
I can see how people would have complaints with the plot because there's no main driving force throughout the whole movie, if that makes sense.
I kind of took it to be sort of like it's like a dazed and confused type scenario
Yes.
where like it's like a bunch of different like threads based on a similar theme.
hmm it's a story based on the people in the story, and that's very good when you have like characters you care about. And I would say you care about a good like percentage of the characters. I really liked the one friend, Benny, who Chris Jackson plays in the original musical. He is a cameo in the movie too. Um, I
Who
like
plays him
that.
in this? Who plays him in the movie?
His name's Corey Hawkins, I believe. I haven't seen him in anything before, but I thought
Okay.
he was very, very good. I liked the younger cousin character a lot. He's pretty funny. He like runs the shop with Usnavi, the main character. Anthony Ramos is very good. Um, the main character, I mean, this is kind of most I guess musicals kind of, but the main character is kind of, obviously the one who we see the story from their eyes. So, you know, I guess you kind of care less about the main character because they're kind of just really delivering the story to you. That being said, Anthony Ramos is very, very talented and good. There's like moments where he's awkward and funny and I liked there's 3 salon ladies, I don't know all their names, but Stephanie Beatriz, who's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, she's Rosa, she's pretty good. And then Daphne Rubin Vega,
Who's in Rent,
um,
right?
she's in Rent, yeah. I don't know, I think she's Mimi, but, she's pretty good too. Um, I'm trying to think. The 2 main girls, um, I forget what their names are. I think it's Vanessa and what's the other one's name? She sings the song "Breathe." I forget what her name is.
I have not seen this
I don't know if it's
musical in
Nini.
some time.
I don't know if
I
it's
watched a
Nini or if
music
I'm making that
production
up.
of it years ago.
Yeah.
I'm
There
googling
was.
it,
I think it's
and
Nini.
Google says Uh, Nina.
Nina. Okay, yeah, close enough. Um,
Nina and Vanessa. You were right.
yeah. So I liked them. They're they were very talented singers. Uh,
Hey,
the
Jimmy Smits is in this.
Yeah, Jimmy Smits is in it. It's funny, kind of. He's a half decent singer. He has to sing for a little bit. He's more like the angry dad with high expectations kind of character towards Nina, who gets into. It's actually funny because it's a story I relate to, somewhat. Which I
Growing up in the Heights as you did.
I'm
Growing up
definitely
in
from,
Washington Heights.
totally. Definitely not from, the suburbs of, Pennsylvania. Um, but she like gets into Stanford and then she absolutely like hates it there and she comes back home thinking like I'm such a disappointment, and I thought that was good. That definitely probably contributed to my enjoyment of the movie. I think that can contribute to your enjoyment of any movie. The time you watch it, how it affects you as a person while you're watching it. So, yeah, it's a long movie. It's 2.5 hours.
And if
Um,
for a musical, that's
so yeah,
they,
I feel like to really, really enjoy this, you have to be a musical enjoyer. Um, I think the casual viewer who wants to just go for a night out to see a movie could get bored by this, could get a little like, let's wrap this up. Um, that being said, I enjoyed it. I'm not rushing to watch it right again, but I thought it had some really good moments and good performances. And I wouldn't say it's like an Oscar contender, but it's
I think with stage
worth it.
musicals, yeah, it's definitely a Golden Globe contender. I think every musical that
Yeah.
comes automatically is, unless it's like a big bomb. And this seems something about this movie screams Golden Globes to me
Mm.
because it's very feel good, very
Yes, it is an
pretty
inspiring movie.
looking. I haven't seen it, but like from what I've seen from the trailers, it looks visually bright, if not
Yes, I would say so.
particularly like striking, but
Hmm.
very bright, very nice to look at, not ugly.
Yeah,
Which I mean, it's musical, it's musical theater,
yeah,
jazz theater.
yeah. So I would say, if you're on the fence about seeing it, weigh your options first because it is a little long. If ask yourself, do I like musicals? Am I this hollow of a person inside that I
Do you
enjoy
recommend
musicals?
seeing it in the theaters or HBO
I
Max?
would say in the theaters. I think I don't know. I haven't like the musical movies I really like actually. I haven't seen in theaters. Like I really like The Greatest Showman. Never saw it in theaters. I like La La Land. Never saw it in theaters.
I saw
Um,
La La Land I saw both of those in theaters.
I'm
Of
jealous
the
of you.
two, I would of the two, I would say to watch in a theater.
Yeah.
La La Land was definitely the more like cinematic movie.
Hmm.
Though The Greatest Showman, I think I disliked, so I probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would watch that again on my phone, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I would watch it in the theater because like you said, it does look pretty good. It's a musical, obviously, so the sound is great in a theater.
Would you see like with a packed house or people clapping and stuff?
No, it wasn't. There were a couple other groups besides us in there, but it wasn't full. I think it actually didn't do too great. Like as I don't think it did as much as they expected in the box office.
I think
People
that's
weren't
yeah.
really clapping either, like you asked.
Well, I guess I can't think of a single movie musical where people clap during it,
Yeah, yeah, fair.
but like it has to be a really good one. But as for the box office, I think this is a case of like the movie's promotion
Yeah,
was very niche, I feel like.
sure.
I feel like they it was very targeted towards like theater people. And I guess maybe we should touch on this. There was a whole like controversy around it with Lin Manuel
Yeah.
making
Um,
it. I don't really know too much about it.
yeah. Well, real quick, I want to
Um,
go back to the marketing real quick because I would see commercials for this movie and it's weird. A lot of the commercials, and I guess this is more post-release of the movie, trying to get people to see it. But there's commercials of like The Rock and Oprah and Ariana Grande after they saw it, just like telling people how good they thought it was. And I was like, this is not how you sell your movie. Show clips of your movie to get people interested in the movie, not,
so
maybe,
famous people who say, "Hey, I like this movie,"
yeah, maybe
like
this is
it's
the
a car.
world we live in now with influencers and, trying to get you to use their code for 10% off on Liquid IV. But I don't know. That kind of I saw those commercials and I was like, really? This is poor taste in my opinion.
I think that studio was not at all convinced that maybe getting like I know it's the director of Crazy Rich Asians, right?
Yes, John M.
So
Chu.
no John M. Chu. So I guess it's a lot of opulence, a lot of decadence, and that movie was very successful. It did
Yeah.
really well at the box office,
Yeah.
and I think they were trying to go for a similar thing. So I guess it's kind of this one is also sort of feel good, kind of like socially conscious,
Mhm.
but it looks socially conscious in a way that's safe for a big corporate studio to like put their name on.
Mhm.
So it kind of checks off all the boxes, but I think they didn't account for the fact that because it's a musical, it's already going to be sort of niche. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
a lot of musicals they have to like trick you into watching it. They're like the trailers won't have any songs in it or something.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of rubbed me the wrong way about the movie, I would say. The controversy, I don't know too much about it. I think it was when Manuel people thought didn't do a good job of like casting a specific group of Latin actors and actresses, as far as I'm aware.
It seems on Wikipedia there's a controversy section under reception, which
Oh wow,
so
that's
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 always
always good.
it's always something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it seems accusations of colorism were present.
Okay.
And Lin-Manuel Miranda apologized as well. Appeared on the Daily Show too.
I saw. Yeah, he
Uh,
apologized.
yeah, he apologized.
Yeah, I mean,
So you know, he apologized. Fine.
yeah, he made his money.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't really know too much about it. I feel like I don't have them high stakes in the game as someone who did
No.
not plan on watching In the Heights.
Mm-hmm.
But so I feel like I can't really speak as to whether this is warranted or not warranted. But hey, he said he was sorry. I don't
Yeah.
know what Will Miranda has to do with it. He didn't cast this or direct this, but
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
that's
I don't know how much how big a part he put. I mean, it is his musical, so I guess he could overrule something if he didn't like it. Like if they cast Tom Hiddleston as Usnavi, I'm sure he would be all for it.
yeah.
Um,
I think my whole thing
Probably
about
his
this
first choice.
I feel like my whole thing about making a controversy out of this is I'm like, hey, look at this movie. This thing was made by a machine, you know?
Yeah.
This was made by like an AI process. It feels weird it feels kind of like fruitless to get that angry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Um, yeah, I
And
mean,
speaking of films made on
happens.
automation, did you have anything else to say about In the Heights?
No, I think that's it. It's not a bad movie. It's not a incredible movie. If you like musicals, you'll like it. Yeah, that's about it.
Hmm, very succinct. I
Yeah,
guess it's
thank you.
about how I thought the movie would be. But
Mm-hmm.
speaking of films made by automation, I also saw a movie this week, a different uh, film, though I don't know. I guess it made me laugh about as much. The
Yeah.
Conjuring 3, I saw, subtitle, The Devil Made Me Do It.
Mm.
And I will say I was entertained by this movie at the beginning.
Yeah.
It in the beginning, like really the title says it all. This guy is on trial for murder. He's like, oh, demonic possession is how I got off. Which seeing that on screen, it feels even sillier
Mm.
than the idea of it sounds. And I guess they're of course self-aware of how silly an appeal that is, and they're trying to work to prove it. Though one of the main issues, first of all, is that it's purportedly based on a true story. And I live in the real world, and
Oh.
I know that demons have not been proven to be real by a court of law,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like that would be an important thing that people talk about.
Yeah.
If the US government has acknowledged that ghosts exist
Yeah.
and that their existence is proper defense for a capital charge. But but this movie that obviously didn't really bother me that much. I was kind of like thinking that the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But like this movie takes a lot of quick detours into like clown town territory where it just kind of tops itself by getting sillier and sillier.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's witches, there's a whole witch family. And the schlock, I think, is pretty entertaining. It's pretty entertaining for a good, like, lurid, schlocky night at the theater.
Okay.
It kind of hits a plateau about like an hour in. Like the jump scares and stuff kind of like die down. The thing is, normally not I'm not very anti jump scare like a lot of people are. I think they're a tool that can be used for good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
But near the middle of the movie, I was kind of praying for another one because it just kind of when you get to the uh, as we've mentioned before, when you get to the human business,
Mm-hmm.
when you're not talking about ghouls and goblins and stuff, there is nothing driving this movie. Patrick Wilson is pretty good. He's like holding it all together, really, I think. But like when you get outside of dealing straight up with just your ghouls and your ghosts,
Yeah.
the movie hits such a dry patch.
Okay. Uh, I have a question for you. Does Patrick Wilson workshop any comedy in this movie?
He does not, unlike Saw, which
Yeah.
also had a main character that I felt held together for a much different reason. Patrick Wilson doesn't do any stand up,
Darn.
but he does charm us with his brilliant acting chops.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the people who I always look forward to seeing,
Okay.
Patrick Wilson, in any movie.
Hmm.
So I guess my review was way shorter than yours. I think because not much
Yeah.
happens in the movie. It's like we got to prove demons exist, and they find there's witches involved. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but you know how
Mm-hmm.
this movie. It's
Yeah.
based, but it's it's really the same old thing with this.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it started with like this is the most horrific case that the Warrens have ever found. The Warrens, of course,
Mm.
are the ghost hunters that are being hired.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing in this movie is particularly horrifying
Okay.
or really that unsettling. Or really like you could watch this movie alone in your house at night and then fall asleep, go to your fridge and get a drink, and then go to bed with no problem, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want some good schlocky true crime fun, you can check it out. You'll have a good time.
Yeah. So if let me pose this question to you. If you had
Yeah.
three choices for how to spend your night, you could
Mm-hmm.
either go to the theater and see In the Heights. You could go to the
Mm-hmm.
theater and see The Conjuring, subtitle The Devil Made Me Do It. or you could stay at home in your bed with what everyone has, your Paramount Plus subscription, and watch the iCarly reboot, the first 3 episodes. What are you doing?
Well, from what I know of one and what I've heard of the other, it looks like iCarly might be a great option.
Really, over in the Heights, you think?
Well, maybe I guess not every night. Really,
Well, the runtime would be shorter and you would be at home, so.
I would probably see In the Heights, but I'm saying, iCarly has to fuel this,
Feel
this
okay. You're doing
transition.
it for the program. Yeah, I see.
I'm doing it for the segue, of
Yeah,
course.
you're lame for that, to be quite honest.
Well, I'm
Answer the
not gonna.
question.
Well,
I
you would
kid.
say, "Why would I lie?" But I just lied right there.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I would probably see In the Heights. I'm not going to say The Conjuring 3 was. It's not the worst movie in the Conjuring cinematic universe,
Okay.
but it's definitely the third best Conjuring movie. There was diminishing returns with each one.
How many are there?
Well, there's three Conjurings, and then there's three Annabelles,
Mm,
and there's the Nun.
okay.
Now I know you're a super fan of the Nun.
That's my favorite movie.
You saw it in theaters.
Yes, I was front row, in my nun cosplay. Um, it was a very thrilling experience.
Did you
Um,
did you ever did you have horrific PTSD from that movie, and then every time you saw a nun, you went into convulsive shocks?
yeah, honestly, I did.
Like a
But
nun slapped your hand with a ruler and you like
yeah,
hallucinated and passed out in the middle of class.
yeah, happened many a time. Um, all right. So let's talk about iCarly, like we mentioned. 3 episodes dropped on Thursday, I want to say.
Mhm.
I watched them all, and I don't know if I was expecting it to. I guess when something is being remade that's very, loved, you kind of immediately go, well, leave it alone. Like if they made a La La Land sequel, I would probably be like, hey, I think I'm okay with that, but let's not do that because the original's too good.
Well, it's
Now,
like the story ended at the end of La La Land. I don't care what happens to them after that.
that's exactly how I
I
felt
got as
about
much as I need to know.
that's exactly how I felt about when they made Toy Story 4. I was like, Toy Story 3 ended perfectly.
It's like, yeah, it's like, okay, I'm sure they have a bunch of adventures after that, but it's
Yeah,
like a
that's like,
story
no.
ends where it ends. You can
Yeah,
keep going if there's something interesting after, but sometimes I'm like, I don't.
no.
With La La Land at the end, it's like that's the point. There's
Yeah,
the
it's
future
over.
is the rest is still unwritten.
Yeah,
Quote Natasha Bedingfield.
yeah, there you go. Feel the rain on you. Wait, is that a different song? Ah,
Yeah,
I
feel
mixed.
the rain on your skin. Da, 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 da.
Are those the same songs?
I hope so.
That's unwritten, right? What's the one I'm thinking of? The one that's like "Da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na," where she's playing the piano in the music video. That's a different song.
You've completely lost me.
You don't know what I'm talking about when it's like making my way downtown.
Oh, making my way downtown,
Yeah,
walking fast, different song.
different song. Okay, just had to
Yeah.
clear it up. We're gonna get sued for so much music use here, probably. But it's okay.
No, no.
We're a booming industry.
We're talking about, of course, Natasha.
Yes. Um so yeah, I watched all three iCarly episodes.
Or whatever the name is in One Piece.
Mhm. It's it's fine. It's Miranda Cosgrove is good as Carly. She's a main character, so like I've said about main characters before, they're not the most interesting character, but They do provide some weight to the story. The best character is still Spencer. He there's a development in the third episode I like a lot about him, and maybe it's throughout the first three episodes. I kind of forget, but Spencer is like has like the same opinions about the internet as Bo Burnham, where he's like, "Why are you like young people so obsessed with?" He doesn't say it like that, but it's like so obsessed with likes and shares and follows, and it's great. Like I like that Spencer's like that. I think that's a
Do
good
they?
development.
They're kind of leaning into the fact that he's like 40 at the moment
Yeah, he is. Well, yeah. I don't know how old Spencer is canonically. Um,
in the iCarly canon.
yeah, yeah. But but yeah, I like that he's kind of like an angry old man. Um, I think it's good. I think someone needs to do that because the show is kind of about like technology now and how they're, have a web show. So that's like an interesting plot point. I like Freddy
What's like the
because
premise of the reboot? Like,
um
what's
so
our purpose for watching these characters come back?
I think it's just for nostalgic purposes, to be quite honest. Uh there's
But
no
like, is she starting a new? Does she have a
Yeah,
new web
she
series this
like
time?
restarts iCarly. She stopped doing it and she went to Italy and college, and she was apparently like a QVC host in Italy. And she still like had notoriety, but not as much as like any childhood internet star, I guess. She kind of fell off, as the kids say.
Uh,
Um and so
and
she
now she's coming
brings
back,
yeah,
making a
they're
return.
and it's just her, and Spencer will make his appearances every now and then, but Freddy still films. This time he just films with his iPhone, not a camera, and that made me quite sad, to be a little honest, because Freddy with the camera was always a great sight.
I feel like going from filming with a camera to filming with an iPhone. I mean, I guess it's more economical, but like,
Yeah,
I'm sure you can afford. Isn't it like a best selling show? Can't they afford like
yeah,
this? Isn't like us. They're not two 19-year-olds, you know.
yeah. And Carly's new roommate is rich, so that's part of
Yeah,
her
buy a
character.
camera.
Yeah. Yeah,
Get
it
a
made me
set
sad.
for the
I was
show.
like, Freddie should have a camera, not an iPhone. Let's get real there. But I like what they did with Freddie, because do you care if I talk about they're not really spoilers, but it's like
What has he joined the online, you know, incel community?
yeah.
Has he committed an act of mass violence yet or something?
Well,
But that's Neville, right?
Freddie's had two divorces, and he's not like a mess, but he's like he has his one daughter that I don't know if it's his daughter or like his wife's one of his past wives' daughters with another person, but one of the new
Wait,
characters is like a daughter of Freddy.
didn't that last show end like 10 years ago?
Yeah, I would say maybe a little less than that.
That's a rough. That
I
iCarly
feel like
ended in.
he's too young to have been through all that.
Hey, I mean, listen, a lot of things can happen in a
Yeah.
short amount of. But also, it's been 9 years. So,
Yeah.
is the daughter less than 9 years old?
Um I don't know. I would say she's definitely older than 9. I don't know if that was their intent, but that's how old the actress looks.
So maybe, who
I'd
knows?
say
Maybe
she's
he's
like a
living.
solid 12.
Is this like supposed to be set like 9 years after the first, or is it like
It's in
way?
2021. Like they have so yeah, I guess it's like real time.
Oh.
Yeah, they weren't wearing
I think
masks though, so that was inconsiderate of them.
I guess this is more like this is how old the actors are,
Yeah,
not necessarily how old the characters were
sure.
aged up to now, you know?
Mhm.
Which fair. I don't know. Who cares? No one cares. This is a show for children.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They curse in it a little bit, and
Well,
they.
I mean, like the first one. This
Oh,
one is
right,
more.
right, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
this one's more catered towards those who watched it. Watch the original, which I think is a good idea. I don't think you can keep the same magic as the original if you just try to do the original again, which I'm sure has happened before with other shows. I can't think of any right now, but like they were making a Lizzie McGuire reboot, and they Disney, I think, wanted it to be more like the original, and Hilary Duff wanted it to be more grown up, which I think is fair, and I think it can work. I think it's
If you're gonna get the actors back to do it,
yeah,
then it would feel wrong to have them go back and still do kid stuff because it's like,
yeah,
it's that sort of like a weird, like poor facsimile of
hmm
like a show that people used to like. That would have been way of yeah, it's a cynical cash in all around, but that would have been even more cynical to just have them do the same thing.
yes.
I appreciate the evolution of like children's sitcom into regular sitcom.
Yeah, and there's a lot of the old jokes still here too. It's not like all grown up stuff. Like Spencer's still making weird sculptures, and Freddy's still a loser who, well, not a loser, but like his mom still, like Freddy's back to living with his mom pretty much, and
I think,
it's
well,
funny.
when you get down to it, the format of like a cartoon like for kids, like iCarly or like what else was on like Austin and Alley,
Yeah.
all that stuff. The format and like while the topics are a bit more like kid friendly,
hmm
it's the same format and the same like level of joke telling.
Yeah.
Like it's the same setup, same structure. You're basically priming kids for like a lifetime of entertainment in this kind of cheap fashion. So
hmm
I think it's good that they made this. It seems very like natural that they made a seamless transition from one of these things to the other.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely did enjoy it. It's cool to see the same characters again. I wouldn't say it's a complete waste of time if you want to watch it and watched iCarly when you were younger. Um and I'd say, like, I saw someone on Twitter say, like, in the comments of like a discussing film thing, like it's still finding its footing, and I think that's like a good way to put it. I think there's a place for it in the world.
Almost no show, if it's a good show anyway, almost no show's best season is going to be its first.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Stuff like
Unless you're
True,
watching I don't know, what's a show with a great first season?
like True Detective or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
But that doesn't even really count.
Yeah, isn't it a new detective each time?
Yeah, like it's an anthology series. So
Yeah. Matthew McConaughey, Mahershala Ali. Who's the other one?
Matthew McConaughey, Mahershala Ali, and there's some other big actors in it. I want to say from The Fugitive, Tommy Lee. He might not be in it, and if so, then it's
Woody
no, it's
Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. Never
Yeah.
mind. I
Yeah.
don't know. I thought it was going to be Tommy Lee Jones in it.
Mhm.
I just remember old, serious guy actor, serious guy who does funny stuff.
mhm. All right. Do you want to talk about anything else today?
Uh, we can mention what we've seen this week.
Yeah, I mean, I really just saw In the Heights and iCarly, so I pretty much covered that already.
Well, I saw those.
Yeah.
I also saw the film A Matter of Life and Death,
Okay.
a Powell and Pressburger movie, and it's very charming. It's probably one of their most pretty looking movies. I know the Red Shoes is also very pretty,
Mhm.
but it's a very pretty looking movie. It's about this fighter pilot who, he dies or he almost dies,
Mhm.
and he falls in love with a he's a British fighter pilot. He falls in love with a beautiful American radio operator, and he's got to defend his life, to be alive.
Hmm.
And he goes up to heaven, and heaven's in black and white, and it looks kind of like the Twilight Zone. It's a movie from like the 40s, but it looks very modern, which is pretty nice.
On a scale of Prince Harry to James Corden, how British is this character?
He's firmly on that Corden path.
Okay.
He's got like a British mustache.
Hmm.
Got like he looks like he should be named like Woolworth. He spends the whole time talking like this, He's charming and dashing, and he's like a British guy.
Why did people used to talk like that?
I don't know, especially like British people in movies. He used to always talk like this. And he said, "Hey, yes. Oh, isn't it charming?"
Yeah.
Oh, I've said a biting remark. And
Yeah.
that was like peak comedy.
Yeah.
That was like, oh, you're a smart person because you talk like
Yeah. Oh, how far we've come.
that.
They should see today's memes. They'd be rolling.
Yeah, we should be glad that we live in peak comedy where we can see such hilarious things as Elon Musk pretending to be Wario on Saturday Night Live and other comedic treasures.
Right, or Zack Snyder's recent tweets on Twitter.
Hey, that's gold, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't laughing, I was crying.
Mm-hmm. All right, anything else?
No, I guess we could better go on to our final segment over here.
Yeah. Would you like to start? I have 3.
I also have 3.
All right.
So I will start with a review of the classic 1946 film, It's a Wonderful Life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, MiniTube gives it 1/2 star, says black and white, square film. Didn't understand a lot, quite slow. 1/2 star.
It's pretty
now,
to
listen,
the point review.
It is black and white. From what I recall, it is in 4:3 or Academy ratio.
Zack Snyder's favorite format.
Yeah, Zack Snyder's favorite format. And I can't speak for it being. I don't recall it, being very hard to follow. I seem to recall it being, a children's film, but like, regardless, he's raising some valid points. He's raising some facts.
I agree.
No pointers.
Well, just the facts here at Save Entertainment.
Yes.
That's what you should take away. My first review is from Christian. This is a 2-star review for In the Heights. And this is more like In the Lengths, because it's long.
In light of the recent controversy, I'm surprised no one has made with the colorism accusations, In the Whites is right there. Someone should please do that.
Oh.
I'm not going to do it.
I didn't say you were.
Someone with less scrupulous morals than I do.
You're more throwing up the alley-oop, and you want someone to just dunk it for you.
Yeah, someone with less scrupulous morals who's fine, doing that kind of thing.
Yes.
In the lengths. That's good.
Yeah.
So a review for Scoob. You have to say it like that because an exclamation point.
Right.
And a review for Scoob. Raoul with some letters after that, DJVP, writes, a postmodern movie, one of the most innovative takes on Scooby yet. 5 stars. And I do. I think that I believe that Tarkovsky's Scoob is an interesting philosophical take on the lore of Scoob. I think the scene in which Scoob, burns down the mystery van and walks away without saying why, I
Mhm.
think it perfectly sums up the alienation that he feels and, the the rising consumerism of the 1960s. I think that, you know, I look forward to the classic film, the soon-to-be classic film, Jodorowsky's Scoob, which
Mhm.
will see Scoob, attempting a Messiah-like journey across the lands to finally find out the answer of who's been haunting the ice cream parlor.
I don't know why that made me laugh as much as it did, but it really got me. They're making a Scoob sequel, apparently.
Oh, the story of Scoob goes on.
What do you think? So they have to bring the exclamation point back, right?
Scoob, two exclamation points. That's the
Mm.
two.
Oh, okay.
Scoob, exclamation, question mark. Scoob?
Is it really you?
Scoob, e dooby doo?
All right. I have another review for in the what I mean in the Heights. Sorry. Whoa. I mean,
Whoa, Freudian slip right there.
well, yeah. This is a 2-star review from Kyle Stone. Kyle writes, "This will be Mayor Pete's favorite movie of the year." A- And I think this could be true, but I think Dear Evan Hansen's definitely going to give it a run for its money, right?
Dear Evan Hansen, possibly. Wonder Woman 1984, definitely. What other stupid movies are there?
Fast and Furious 9. Well, that's
Definitely not.
actually a great franchise, so I shouldn't say that.
But I don't know. I feel like even though that West Side Story movie is also coming out this year,
Mhm.
he'll specifically mention that In the Heights is his favorite. I
Yeah.
don't know.
No, I understand. Yeah.
Now, we at Save Entertainment, we're not a political podcast, but
Mm-mm.
we should mention that we have been bought out by the Daily Wire,
Yes, we have.
and we are forced. I mean, we are glad to bring you, some America First content.
Well, let's just say they made us an offer we couldn't resist.
Yes, an offer we couldn't resist. They made us, they gave us a promise that we are allowed to, we're both allowed to, I don't know, I couldn't think of a clever thing to say
It's
about
okay.
that. My improv powers failed me. Anyway,
Happens.
this is a review for the Daily Wire's film, Run, Hide, Fight.
Hmm. In that order.
Yeah, it's called Run, Hide, Fight, directed by Benjamin J. Shapro.
I feel like you should fight then run.
No, that's like when they say you're in a school shooting, like that's like the hierarchy
Oh,
of what
really?
you should do. It's like you should run, and then if you can't run, you hide, and if you can't hide, you fight.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't have the sharpest shooters over there at the Daily Wire. I don't think. I mean, yes, they do. They fund our payroll,
Right. We can
and they
never
give us,
stand it.
a check. We our advertising goes into Caitlin Bennett's diaper budget, so
Mm,
that's how. And in exchange, we get one piece of confiscated merchandise from the police every night.
yeah.
Anyway, Run Hide Fight user Smuggy gives it 5 stars and says, "I gave this film 5 stars just to own the libs." Now, me myself, I have, sorry, but I have been, untruthful with you, Declan.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did see In the Heights, but I didn't watch the movie.
Mm.
I went there wearing, a Caitlin Bennett branded adult diaper
Mm-hmm.
and soiled myself publicly
Really?
in order to ruin everyone's experience. Everyone's immediately started, yelling a lot of mean, nasty words. And
Mm.
it was good for it because I believe that that was really opening them up to how the liberal agenda has failed them.
Yeah. No, I
I
respect
would
that.
say so.
All right. This is the last review, correct? My
Uh,
last one. This is for an HBO Max exclusive. It says right here, this is Friends the Reunion. Um, and this one says, it's a 1-star review from Jordan Beaumont Anderson. And this says there are 2 separate applause breaks for a fountain. So, there we go. I can't say I've had 2 separate applause breaks. So, what's the fountain got on me? Apparently a lot.
hey, it gives out delicious free water.
It's true. It's something I cannot do.
Well, you just haven't tried hard enough. You haven't hit your spurt.
It's fair. All right.
You have to master the art of expelling water from your body at mass speeds.
No, no, I haven't. Um, all right. Anything else before we wrap up this here episode?
Well, make sure you give us a like, give us
Hmm.
a subscribe, leave a comment down below.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a review and a rating,
Leave us a
if you
review.
will.
Tell us how British you are.
You know what? We will read. I haven't okayed this with Declan, but maybe we will read a review on air.
Yeah, we'll read a review if yeah. Maybe that when we get big enough, instead of letterbox reviews, we'll read reviews for our show. And it'll be
We should
like,
start a mailbag. Yeah,
yeah.
the
And
email is in the description.
it'll be like, why were there 2 separate applause breaks for um a take about In the Heights?
Yeah, why is there two separate applause breaks for jokes that have been ripped off from other podcasts?
Yeah. And to that we'll say, I don't know, but you're still listening to us, so we're clearly doing something
Nickelodeon
right.
slime comes down.
Yes. And the Curb Your Enthusiasm music plays. That's ultimately our end game. And that's the end game for episode 20 23
23,
23, our Michael Jordan episode.
you will.
So yeah, we'll only have one of those. So shout out to Michael Jordan. I only watched one
I
episode
know
of
you're listening, Mike.
yeah, I only watched one episode of The Last Dance. I'll have to get on the other 5 or however many there are. But I wasn't a Michael Jordan guy. I wasn't around then. Maybe I should have been. I don't know. All right. Well, thanks for listening. If you're British, I
Please
guess
direct all hate mail to the Queen of England so we can get her to that grave sooner. We're
I'm
just kidding.
sorry. I'm sorry for your loss, Prince Philip.
Hit us up though.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
need, if you're into the swinger lifestyle, my DMs are always open.
Yeah.
Vicky, that's your name, right? Or is it Elizabeth?
Yeah, something
Lizzie,
like that. Yeah,
Lizzie, Vicky, whatever your name is.
yeah, our friends across the pond, which we have so many of. Thank you. Um, and we'll see you. Maybe we'll see you late Thursday night. Maybe we'll switch things up, and
Ooh,
we won't be coming to you Saturday again. So you know, this is a
yes,
one-time thing. But I think we stepped our game up through through all the controversy we faced.
yes.
So thanks for watching or listening, and see you later.